Yeah, I've never actually done this before, so.
Okay. The life finder keeps Maev up. It was going to be a close thing.
And healing, what? Get out of, no! No!
Triple stun again. Big flanks coming out from the Blaze.
It's a death metal though.
Death metal into the double, triple kill.
Welcome everybody to the stream. We have Nexus Cats versus Winky Face Division C East matchup. Nexus Cats got their first win last week, and going to see if they can stack some more numbers up here. Well, it's only the fourth match for Winky Face. I think domination. I think they dropped. Yeah, they lost 2-1. Dugan's one of the top teams. Not the worst showing there. They continue to assert their dominance in this matchup here. Themselves and Nexus Cat. Expect a good series. That's what we'll get tonight. Everybody's filtered in. Gonna let everybody know. I want to show a couple things before actually all good. So. Where we are. So, coin toss went to Nexus Cats. They took map pick. They banned out Dragonshire and Towers of Doom, while Winky Face took out Infernal Shrines and Volskaya Boundary. And we're going to be going to Alterac Pass for the first game, which is nice and spicy. Definitely like I wanted to see. Excuse my voice a little bit today, guys. I am still recovering. Bronchitis is not quite sorted itself out yet, which of course usually takes about a week. So I'm probably going to be sounding like this for a little while. But I am feeling better overall, so should still be able to get through this cast pretty well. Hop into game and ready. I'm just letting them all know that I'm ready to go. We will get right in here. Game starting up right away. Ours from everybody. Arthur now starting the draft, and here we go. Number 1. Get this damn thing to activate. There we go. Feel like got the names here all messied up, so I really wish this would not. Looks like we're actually going to be playing. Might just be easier to type this all out. We're going to get Chen, Abathur, and Rainer bans. I mean, this thing is just going full speed. I'm not going to be popping the stats up right away, guys, because I have to kind of sort out one of my tools that did not update properly for me. So, but I will keep us updated in the draft. Zeratul being banned out. If you know the enemy team has a good Zeratul, I mean, I think Zeratul is still in a perfectly fine spot. Yes, he got a bit nerfed. I might have scared off some of the weaker mechanical players off the hero. But the ones that are still good at him can still be quite effective. And I think we might see a bit of that today. So we're going to get Anna first picked on the other side. A strong hero still, despite the nerfs to the grenade build. She still has really good healing throughput. And to still be an absolute pain in the butt to deal with. Now, she's still susceptible to dive, so if it's drafted well enough against, it can still be a powerful pickup. Anna picked up. Brickhouse is going to grab that Junkrat. And Rexar from Full Mango. Rexar holds lanes very, very well, and he's got good stall on the camps. He's good in sustained fights. Not the worst pickup there. I really like the Rexar. But I do like Nexus Cats getting that Sylvanas nice and early. Johanna's a good solid frontliner. Mark Zombie definitely likes to play the hero. So considering what the bans and picks are so far, we're going to see a target ban onto the main tank. We're going to see a new Brak taken out. That does mean ETC is still available. And I think lots of people are kind of considering that to be the right up there when it comes down to bans these days. It enables a lot of things for your team and just seems a little bit more survivable after all the major patches that have come through in the last few weeks and months. Which, despite everyone's trepidation after the cancellation of HTC, the dev team has still been doing a pretty good job staying on top of those balance changes and trying to get the state of the game into a place where everybody feels comfortable. So, not particularly upset with what they've done so far. I do think it changes things up, keeps things fresh, and now with a new hero announcement, we're going to be rolling in it, so to speak. We're going to see a Rel Lucio. So Rel did get a bit of a buff this last round. Got to make sure I've got this on the right player. And Lucio was changed many patches ago, but I think over time people have become more and more comfortable with this hero. The fast rotations are really nice to have on it. We're going to see Mephisto and Muradin picked up to kind of finish this all off. I think that since a lot of the changes, Mephisto's popularity has definitely increased. I don't think he himself has been changed all that significantly, although he did get quite a few buffs. So, I mean, I haven't really played him a lot, so what do I know? But on this map in particular, I think he's definitely got lots of advantages, lots of things to appreciate. That's going to be our draftster for you guys, so let me know out in the chat how you're feeling about this draft. I see 12 of you in here. Thank you for the follow. Not a good player. Well, even if you're not a good player, these are going to be good games to watch. So, glad that you're here. I appreciate the follow. Let's keep it up, folks. Let's see if my in-game overlay is working. It is perfect. Swapped over nice and simply for me today. We're going to be getting into the full match here. Nexus Cats versus Winky Face, game number 1. Liking both drafts. Junkrat, I personally really enjoy on this map. I like his stall potential. I like the Rexar for the macro. Mephisto's got good stall too as well. His macro's not as good, but it's passable. It's gonna work. Starting on the blue side of the map, we have Nexus Cats, the home team tonight. And we have Sylvanas being played by that guy. Lucio is played by Lulu. Arthanel on the Gul'dan. Mark Zombie on the Johanna. Shadowguard playing the Arel. On the red side, we have Winky Face looking to make red all over the map. Zhao on the Anna. Brickhouse playing the Junkrat. Full Mango on the Rexar. Michaelin on the Mephisto. And Genzor's playing the Muradin. Let's see how the opening handshake goes between these two teams for the startup of the game. Let me know if the game sound is loud enough. I feel like it might be a little bit too quiet here. See if I can bump that up a little bit so that we can hear what's going on. Sorry about the quick interruption there, but we got it done nice and quickly, so it shouldn't be much of a problem going forward. And, yeah. So, we start your rotation down to the bottom lane. 3-man rotation. It looks like that Mephisto comes down just to try to stall out a bit of the push that we're getting onto the front wall in the tower. Nothing too substantial, but a nice little bit of structure damage happening right away. Junkrat trying to do somewhat the same thing, but especially in the early game without much protection, he's not going to really move up too far to be able to do a lot. It is slow damage, and it's not that heavy in the beginning part. We can see a Rexar teeing off in the top lane. I do tend to give Rexar the advantage in this lane, and we'll have to see. We're going to see both teams focusing really hard on getting their first camps out. Gul'dan camping is quite fast compared to the Junkrat, but maybe the rotations were a little bit faster on there, or maybe I'm just flat wrong. Looks like Winky Face is actually going to get theirs out just a slight tiny bit earlier. Both, though, doing a pretty good job getting it around the 1 minute 30. That means this camp should be respawned roughly around the same time. What I don't like is Sylvanas making the rotation into the bot lane, when really Sylvanas, especially if we see the level 4 talent being picked as Merc Queen, really get a lot of pressure onto this front wall. Nice and early. She can neutralize that camp using her D. She can then push up hard and buffing these 60%. I mean, they do. Structures take minus 20. I mean, it's a 20% damage increase from all sources onto that structure, including the lane minions, which is a lot of damage. Instead, we're going to see Sylvanas and Muradin dueling in the bot lane, and those mid camps are just going to get cleared up nice and easy, not getting a whole lot of value done on either side. We did see Nexus Cats get theirs pushed up against the wall, and as I was saying up before, Rel's not doing too terribly. I don't know if he has a tap here. I'm not sure you want to be all that much right there. I'm pretty sure you can get the sustain off of a Rel fast enough, so. But, you know, more or less, the camps here being pretty neutralized. Again, I don't understand the being here at the wall, especially with all of that health and mana still pretty much available for the Arel here, so I'm not entirely certain about that change. We see Nexus Cats move up here to see if they can get the activation, but I just don't think this is going to happen. Not with Junkrat kind of sitting there throwing Qs at it, but they don't manage to actually get it stalled out. So Brickhouse kind of failing on the stall. If he's not really spacing out his Qs very well, and if he doesn't put a mine here, it makes it kind of hard to really sit here and indefinitely stall out this point. So a little bit of a failure on that, but keep in mind, anytime you come across the map here to push up onto this objective, you tend to be sacrificing positioning where you can be susceptible to flanks, but Rexar did not move from the top lane. Instead, trying to go for that fast 7s instead. We're going to see Winky Face give up the first objective for that. You know, whether it's a good or a bad play is really kind of in the eye of the beholder. It more or less kind of comes down to how well they defend against this. You know, if we get a good fort out of this, and Nexus Cat's doing a pretty good job making sure they're focusing the side lane. You want to focus the mid lane with camps, and you want to focus the side lane with objectives, because you can really leverage those bosses into good structure and fights. But since the focus is 4-man here in the Nexus, I'm going to stay into the bot lane and just kind of see how things going. And we can see right now that both Sylvanas and Gul'dan are putting a lot of pressure onto Mephisto, onto Genzors. They can't really push up hard onto this, and so they're just going to kind of free push onto this this fort. And I'd have to say that this is exactly the value that we were wanting to see out. Oh, Ghost 4444, thank you so much for the sub. You are my hero. I appreciate all the support anyone brings to this channel. You are a god. Thank you so much. And that's a reasonable objective number 1 for Nexus Cats. Yeah, they're still slightly behind in experience, but this can be somewhat made up for. with fast camp grabs and continuing to soak from number 1. If they get any kills, they can kind of make up some of that experience difference that they're on. Now, I appreciate the subs, but I would like to see a little bit of activity in the chat, guys. Could we get a little bit of conversation going on here? Tell me who you think is ahead in this game. Full Mango going no mana, and I think this is a good situation for Arel. Arel can defend pretty well against a Rexar with no mana, and he's really using these towers well to make sure that he stays ahead. And I like this push coming out from Nexus Cats. They're really playing to the strengths of Alterac Pass. We do have Mercenary Queen. They are buffing this. Now, they're taking quite a bit of damage there from Arcanami and Arthanel, but it shouldn't be anything too difficult to heal up. They get good pressure in there, and that was a good defense, though, from Winky Face. But look at that. They're still having to struggle to clear that up, and the whole front wall is gone from that boosted camp. And those are kind of the advantages I like to see from that camp. Now, everyone's rotating around as 4. I am a little bit concerned about this because they are missing soak in the bot lane. They are not picking up the soak in the mid lane, and that's going to keep Winky Face ahead in experience. And we're going to see a quick rotation using that level 10 advantage from Winky Face to come down here for this boss. Now, by itself, the boss is not going to be able to push hard into this lane, but it is going to deny Nexus Cats the boss. And actually, they realize something's up. They realize no one else is on the map. And so we see a full 4-man rotation coming out from Nexus Cats. Good heads-up play. Counting your lane numbers and just making sure that you're not getting cheesed here a little bit. And that's a good boss defense. I mean, they can't burn it fast enough with Mephisto Junkrat. The damage is very slow. But I have to say this top lane is definitely going well for Rexar. He got the front wall down. He's getting some fort damage. I would have liked to see him focus the well a little bit there, but really, it's not that big a deal. And we're going to see the camps being rotated out again by Nexus Cats and Winky Face. And we can see here the experiences even out really well. So I would say Nexus Cats do have a small advantage on the map, given their given the fact that they have taken down that the bottom lane fort. And I think a 4 or even a 5-man push with Arel, with Sylvanas into this lane, clearing up this camp and pushing out onto that fort would actually be a really good play for the Nexus Cats. And that is exactly what they're going to be going for. So, well, I think that's a good position, but that's a really good stun into Endurance of Hate. But that sound barrier saves them all. And now Genzors is looking to be in a bit of trouble here, getting super low. But that initiation was really strong. The Boars is to come out. We're going to see a bit of this damage coming into Shadow Guard and Lulu. And there is no longer a sound barrier available to keep everyone alive in this situation. And that is going to be Winky Face taking the first objective. They do get a stall. So they do get the first kill of the game. That's going to give them a bit of an advantage here. Sorry about that, guys. That was a little bit of a camera monk ass right there. And they don't quite get the channel. So they do get a slight lead in experience, though. They're doing a fantastic job of just making sure that they're grabbing all that soak. Rexar coming down into the bot lane. And this is the thing I'm really enjoying from Winky Face's play style, is that they're not sweating the objectives. They're just giving themselves some patience. But a lot of pressure coming out onto Michael, and he does drop Endurance of Hate, but he is going to go down. We'll see if they can get a counter kill onto Sylvanas. She does get out. Mark Zombie super low, and they do get the counter kill out. Boards is going to come out onto Arthur now, and I think he might be in a bit of trouble. No, he does manage to peel himself out behind the gate. Irel comes in for the disengage. Genzors gets knocked back. That guy is going to be, I don't know if that was necessary. You do have a Lucio there that has pretty good out of combat healing. But they're not going to be able to get continuous stalls here with the zone coming in from both Misha and Muradin. So the channel finally comes through. Despite a 1-for-1 trade, we're going to have 13s and control of this little pathway here. Whenever this happens, my advice to a lot of teams is stop looking at this as the only pathway in. The fact of the matter is Winky Face is completely exposed on the back side. If you come up with a good flank, which you need your frontliners to do, And we actually see the engagement coming in. Great fear coming on to Anna. Anna is actually probably going to go down. Zhao does drop, but so does Lulu. And that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, but Sylvanas gets pressured down by the Rexar. The channel goes through. It's a 1-for-2. Now it's a 1-for-3 trade for Winky Face, and that's a big shift in momentum on this map. I felt like Nexus Cats had a good opportunity to come back, or to kind of pressure out this next objective, but losing 3 heroes there is definitely going to give Winky Face the advantage. They're now a level ahead. They've got this open wall here, which means this fort is probably going to go down, and Mark Zombie's got to be careful. That's a lot of damage coming out from both Michaelin and Full Mango, and they're just going to put a lot of pressure onto this fort. I don't think they can really do a whole lot to defend it. I actually would have chose perhaps defend the mid and bottom forts, given the fact that this front wall was gone already. Sylvanas is definitely split, doing a job to do that, but by herself without using her trait, I don't know if that's going to actually come to pass. Aurel trying to slow down the push into the mid lane, but I think we're going to see 2 forts go down in both side lanes, and that's good value for Winky Face. We might even see it with this 4-man rotation, might even be a 5-man rotation from Junkrat. Might even see the mid fort go down. The objective is done in all the lanes, and this is a pretty still healthy fort. This wave's going to push in, but now the big team fight's going to come through. We saw Wailing Arrow coming out a little bit premature. I don't think it really landed on anything but Rexar, but that was a good 4-man fear. Plus the armor, and I don't know, did we see Sound Barrier come out? No, I think the Sound Barrier definitely was premature. Didn't really do enough to sustain them through that fight, and now Mark Zombie kind of on an island. It looks like the folks is good sleep coming out on a Mark Zombie. He's going to go down. That guy making sure he doesn't get booped into the team, and I think with that kill onto Mark Zombie, this is going to be a forfeited fort. And Winky Face is just coming out on top in all of these fights. There's a little bit of chat activity. I appreciate the shout out there for the Nexus Cats. Slam him. They're doing what they can, but they are distinctly falling behind in this game. 16s gathered by Winky Face, and I think they might be looking to snipe this bot fort, perhaps even this boss. Rexar is probably just going to back up and grab this camp. We see Nexus Cats doing the same thing. So yeah, Rexar is definitely going to be able to solo that. He is very good at doing solo camps. Even a tough camp like this one, he can pretty handily manage with that level 1 talent of his. Does a pretty good job. So full Q build actually, Rexar. We see a good stun coming on Arthur now. He's got to be careful. Gul'dan does have one major weakness, and that is his mobility. He can be dove upon pretty hard. But objectives are coming out. They do push out the mid lane a little bit, but they're really not going to focus on pushing a lot of pressure into this. And that's going to make taking this pretty hard, because this well is still up. They still have good advantage here, but they do have access onto Junkrat if they decide to push in on that. But I do feel like maybe a little bit underutilization of the Sylvanas in some of these situations, where they could really kind of force some of their pressure here in the mid lane on that camp. But in fact, the fact that that camp got free cleared means that now it's the Nexus Cats that have to respond to this mid camp, and that should open up a window here for Winky Face to actually look at maybe getting either a team fight or getting up onto the shrine nice and quickly. We're going to see Durance of Hate coming out onto Johanna, who traits right through it, so it didn't actually do what it needed to do. Michaelin does get the nano, is doing quite a bit of damage, is actually going to get the kill onto Lucio, who did drop the sound barrier, but I just don't think it was enough to keep everyone alive. It looks like we're going to get another 3-for-0 trade. Winky Face just showing up in these team fights, finding the good advantages. Durance of Hate didn't really get the procs that you wanted to, but the Riptire sure as hell did. And combined with all of that damage coming out from the nano boosted Mephisto, we can actually see he's doing about 56,000 hero damage. That damage really stacks up onto the teams, that Mephisto doing just a really good. Yeah, I have not removed the kitten. The kitten is still around, though decided to go find some food or cuddle another of their brothers or sisters here that are still wandering around. Nice to see you in the chat there, Turd Herder. Welcome. If you have not followed, please do. If you have a Twitch Prime subscribe available, would be appreciated. If not, views are good enough for me, boys. And we're going to see another engagement coming on. Boar's going out onto, and we can see Genser's just sitting on top of Arthur now, doing his best to push him down. There goes the... oh, geez, I completely forgot what that ultimate is called. But yeah, the kill is finally going to come down to Avatar. Brain fart. You see a good... engagement coming out there. So the pick off onto Mark Zombie. He's having a rough game. He's been focused really hard on that front line, and I think the percentage damage dealt by some of these heroes is causing some issues. Percentage damage or just so much consistent damage. And there we go. Their nano boosted Mephisto is going to go in there, get another kill onto Lucio, who's been struggling to avoid all that damage coming through. So keep number 1 is down. You don't really want to push in on the core with only 1 keep, as the armor stacks does make it really difficult to finish the game there without a huge amount of kills. So we're gonna see Winky Face showing they know the map, doing a good job. Ah, Turd, you are the best. I do appreciate the Twitch Prime, my man. Thank you so much. Again, I'm going to be casting regularly, so it won't go to waste. I know I've promised Valkymer and many others that I will get my emotes done. I've just been sick and unable to really get the focus onto it. But maybe this week I might be able to get some time to go into paint and create the monstrosities that will be my emotes. And this core is down to half, and all keeps are down. This last objective is still up. We do see a full man defense. 20s are available, but I think the focus is going to come out from Winky Face to see if they can actually push this core down. Genser's getting nice and deep. Avatar has to be popped out. Arthur now getting really low. Sound Barrier comes out to save his life, but Michaelin looks like he really wants to get that kill in. And I just don't know if this is going to happen for Winky Face. It's a really close thing. It's so tight. But with that movement, with the kill on the Ana, it might just be too much, but it looks like it's going super low. We're at the last 1,000 damage. But Brickhouse is gonna die, and Arthur now stays alive. So finally, Winky Face getting a few more kills on the board. It's been a little while. They do manage a last desperate core defense, but despite that, they're still sitting in a very precarious position. And it's definitely going to be a hard one match here. But they are level 20s. Regeneration is coming through. They're gonna need to clear up those camps. I think they might be looking for a boss play, but with forts up, I don't know if it's really going to net them a whole lot, even despite having those kills. And the top lane probably wouldn't be my focus for the boss. If I were to choose a boss play on this map, it would definitely be in the bot lane where you already have 1 fort gone. So, but it is going to be the top boss play. That is what we decide to go with. Winky Face gets their mid camp out, and they got to be careful with all 3 forts down and this much wave pressure in the mid lane plus this camp. That core is going to be taking actually quite a bit of damage. And this keep I would be surprised if this fort even goes down. The boss without a push on this map just doesn't really do as much as it does on other maps. So we're going to see the Junkrat has lots of damage, mitigation. Rexar burns these things really fast. And so, I applaud Nexus Cats doing what they can to do something to relieve some of the pressure here on the map. And they are going to try to get their mid lane camp out. But considering that Winky Face is here already starting with the full channel, we're probably going to see a team fight. Arthur now getting a ton of damage from the Rexar and from Genzors. And he's just living on that back line. The front line doing their best to try to do something about it. But all that damage, that nano boosted Mephisto, getting so much work done, just absolutely deletes that backline. And I think this is the beginning of the end with all these forts down, all those kills. I'm pretty sure Winky Face doesn't really need to worry about the objective. They can just push in here and win the game. Johanna by herself is not going to be enough. And that's probably going to be game number 1 going to Winky Face. Nexus Cat's looking good in the early game, but just unable to deal with the that nano-boosted Mephisto. And it just kept on winning a lot of those team fights with lots of good backline pressure coming in from Misha and Murden. And Irel was trying to disrupt things in the back, but just didn't manage to be able to pull it off. So there's your end of game stats. We see Arthur now with the top damage on his team, top hero damage, and top siege, but we can really see where the pressure was coming in, and that was from Mephisto there. 97, almost 100,000 damage, doing about 30k plus more than the closest damage dealer, which was actually Rexar. Which Full Mango played fantastically. He just soaked so well. He got so much macro done. That Rexar doing a lot of work there, and Winky Face picking up game number 1. We'll pop up the talent screen temporarily here, and we'll go to a quick break after that while we sort out. Well, I mean, they can kind of sort out whether they want first pick or map pick and all that kind of stuff, and we'll just wait for my invite here in just a moment. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back, folks. We're quickly getting to it. We have the next match already set up and ready to go. We should be starting quite soon. We will be going to Braxis Holdout. This is the choice by the Nexus Cats. And it should be quite the quite the match. Now, I think there was a statistic from Ryokai, one of my coaches, about Braxis Holdout, and that first pick has about a 70% win rate on this. So a bit of a scary map to be picking against someone, but if you have a good strategy in mind, it can still definitely net you a win. So we'll see if it pays off here for the Nexus Cats. I certainly hope it does, as a game 3 would be fantastic, but we're going to waste no time and get right into the draft here. Starting game number 2. We'll see if there's any adaptations in the draft here. I saw Zeratul banned, so Stukov is going to be banned first and foremost. I know that's definitely a Lulu comfort. Getting that out of there. And we're going to see Zeratul first banned. I'm not quite surprised. On this map in particular, it can be quite a devastating tool to be used, as he got really good rotational value here. So Vanis is going to be banned out. They just don't want that wave neutralizing, camp neutralizing pressure that she can provide on the defense, plus the ability to kind of pressure out the lanes and make them more effective. Rexar going to be banned here. I think that's a really heads-up play by Nexus Cats, as the Rexar was very well played on Alterac Pass, and this is arguably probably his best map. So allowing Full Mango to get that. And we're going to see Anna being banned here. And there's no really way to stop this Mephisto again. And I think that's probably going to be the direction we're going. So Arthur now is going to go for the Jaina, changing it up from the Gul'dan. I will say that while I do always enjoy Jaina, and I do think that she's a great hero, on this map in particular, I tend to be a bit of a fan of the Gul'dan, as he can really give you a lot of good pressure in that bottom lane. We're going to see Rhaegar taken. Now, he's going to give you map, kind of a bit of map control with his camping capability. So not a bad choice. I do like it. He does lack a bit the sustained heals that I like to see. And just kind of as I was talking about, we're going to see Brickhouse pick up the Gul'dan instead. And I like that pick. I think the goal here is to put Michael in onto something like Genji, as Genji's rotational value on this map is actually fantastic. And Full Mango goes for the Chen. Chen has been buffed. He does win lots of matchups these days. He's not immune, though. There are definitely good off-lane heroes that can pressure him in that top lane on this map. So, but he's also quite sustainy versus some of those matchups. So, like things like Malthael can definitely pressure him, but Malthael has to fight in the lane. Fighting on the point is not as easy for him to do, and also he's way more vulnerable to those off-lane rotations. And Imperius is going to be banned out, and that's going to be the other one I was going to talk about, that it's got a pretty good matchup into Chen on this lane, and is way less vulnerable to ganks. One of the good things about Imperius, he's absolute garbage on the wave clear when it comes down to it. We're going to see Sonya picked up. I think Sonya can duel all right with Chen. I'm not entirely certain about that matchup, as I'm not any longer a off-lane player. So someone else might have to educate me there in the chat on how this generally goes. But I think a well-played Sonya can be good. She's got good wave clear and can definitely pressure and duel well. So probably not a terrible choice. Garrosh, I'm kind of hit or miss with him on this map in particular, but we saw really good play from Genzor's in map number 1 from the Murden. So if we get similar play from, tank play like that, I think it could be quite good. Not opting for the Genji rotation. We're just going to see Raynor picked up, and that's just going to add to the sustained damage, and we're just going to see a ton of sustained damage. And Tychus is going to be the pickup. Now, I think Tychus did get a bit of a buff with the movement speed increases, because that allows him to be able to get into range faster. And get that trait value in. So I think it's a good choice. I don't know. I think both of these are pretty neutral as far as who has the distinct advantage here, but I do like the Anna Gul'dan pairing. We're going to see that nano boost on Gul'dan again. And really, Gul'dan Anna in that bot lane is going to be incredibly difficult for Jaina Rhaegar to keep up with. So the engagements are going to have to be on point from the Nexus cats. And hopefully it will be enough. But they're really going to have to try to pressure and find good kills in that bot lane. And Tychus is going to get outranged by Jimmy. And it's still a lot of sustained damage pressure before he can really get in on a target. So he's got to have to be follow up for Nubrak, and he's got to make sure that he doesn't get thrown by the Garrosh. But instead of just talking, let's get into the game here. On the blue side, we have Nexus Cats looking for the equalizer against Winky Face. Mark Zombie on the Nubrak, that guy on the Tychus. Lulu playing Rhaegar. Shadow Guard. Oh, looks like we might have got the wrong thing, so we're gonna have to redo this. I apologize for that, folks. Looks like we're gonna have to come back into this game. Something appears to have gone wrong. I did not see the initial message. I'll catch it back up on my stream, as we have a slight delay here. So I'm still not entirely certain what's going on here. Just waiting for a little bit of confirmation here from the teams. Don't know what happened. But just a slight delay, folks. We'll be right back into the game here without much of a break. Excuse my cough there. Any of you that missed it, there's the overview. So they're just going to speed draft so it doesn't mess up the replay submissions. So it looks like we're... I mean, I'll show it again just so that people can watch, but it looks like we're going to do the exact same draft. So it's not going to be anything too fancy here. But feel free to discuss. I still feel like the chat is a little quiet still.
I'm not checking in.
Talking to myself and there's no response in chat. Sad day. I've talked enough. You guys discuss. Birds. Thank you, Psycho Bear, reigniting the discussion. There's some kitties. All right, looks like we're finally back through the first round draft. I still have no idea what happened that required this to all be reset. Something went wrong. Maybe it was the server. It just seems a little odd to me that Arthur and the boys would be on West server at all for any given reason. Alrighty, we're loading nice and quick into the match. Everything's up. All right. On the blue side, we have the Nexus Cats, Shadowguard on the Sonya, Lulu on the Rhaegar, Arthanau on the Jaina, that guy on the Tychus, and Mark Zombie on the Nubrak. And on the right-hand side of the screen, we have Winky Face, Michaelin on the Raynor, Zhao on the Ana yet again, Brickhouse playing Gul'dan, Genzor's on the Garrosh, and Fulmingo playing that Chen. And apparently chat ends at cats. I don't know, guys. I think that this Ana Gul'dan is definitely going to be a tough one to deal with in the bot lane. Zhao's just going to be able to sit at long range and toss out all of those Qs. Trying to scout all the bushes using that long range Q. We have Garrosh hiding in the bush. Hasn't been scouted yet. One has the assumption that he's hiding in some bush somewhere. A quick pop up the top lane, see how this trade is going. Like I said, I think in the lane maybe, but I don't know. And of course, as soon as I pop up, as is generally the caster curse, Jaina's gonna get killed. I'm assuming it was a sleep into throw into kill. And that's going to be a bit of the scary thing here. As long as Gensler stays on that mount with Garrosh and stays out of vision. Last thing I want to see is him stepping up to, you know, clear lanes. Just be that constant threat. Make them have to spend their abilities to get him down. We're going to see the knock-in on Nubrak, and he's going to get slept immediately off the throw, and that is going to be the kill. Number 2. So Winky Face, again, opening up this game nice and strong. Here's your opening level talents, pretty much the usual. Echo Corruption, Warbreaker, Contact Healing, Eye of the Tiger, Ace in the Hole. And on the other side, seeing Fingers of Frost, a nice early camp there, and that's the power of the Jaina Rhaegar in the early game. They are going to be able to cycle out these camps nice and quickly. You see the throw onto Mark Zombie. Now he isn't at half health like he was before. Now Gensler's is actually on an island. He's going to go down, and that's going to be kill number 1 for... So Shadow Guard doing well, trying to get that pressure, and he's going to have to heal up off this wave, and so that means Chen is going to be ahead in this lane. And that's the thing. In waves, I think Sony has an advantage. Out of waves, I don't think so. So Nubrak's really going to have to manage that health bar of his. Anytime he gets thrown in and slept after the fact at lower than 50% health, but Chen does manage to get the kill off. And this is going to be a problem. They don't have great rotational capability from... but we're going to see a trade out onto Garrosh yet again. So Garrosh getting picked apart. The Jaina is really good. The Tychus... Jaina slows down the Garrosh. The totem, especially the big totem from Rhaegar, slows down the Garrosh. And that gives Tychus all the time in the world he needs to burn down Garrosh. So, but despite those 2 kills trying to catch them up, they're still slightly behind in experience due to the fact that Sonya did die in the top lane. And again, this lane matchup is just not going in Sonya's favor. I think he needs a few more talents to be able to use that hero effectively into the Chen. And the thing is the Chen scales up too as well. So we're going to see the first percentage channel coming out from Winky Face. Mark Zombie does get thrown in, and all that pressure, he drops to 20 health, but a good heal coming out from Lulu keeps him alive. The shield comes into place, and that's going to be more channel. You know, Mark barely got out of that alive. And that's going to be the problem here. Rexar is not going to keep Anubrak topped off. I think that's a bit of a problem, and so you see that guy making the rotation up in the top lane, and this is the thing about Braxis in particular, is that if you're gonna run a standard 4-1, you have to have a winning matchup in the top lane. If you don't have that winning top lane, it's not gonna be great for you. But Gensler is getting a lot of pressure, but so is Mark Zombie. It was a good throw. I don't know if he's gonna stay alive, and yeah, the totem is not available or doesn't come out in time to keep him alive. The Q is not there. We don't have ancestral healing up. And it's just going to be a tough ride there for Nubrak with all of that sustained damage coming out. He only has that 1 W to keep him alive. And Sonya does go down in the top lane again to Chen. Did you see that guy make the rotation to see if he can pressure Chen? And I actually think Tychus is one of those heroes that actually might have an okay matchup into Chen. But I don't know if that's the case solo lane. I don't think he's got a great solo lane into Chen. We'll have to see. It does burn him down pretty fast, but that's the problem. The return damage coming up from Chen is going to be pretty rough, and he can abuse that lack of mobility. In a 5v5 team fight, I think Tychus might actually have a pretty good matchup, but not in a solo lane. Solo lane, I think, right now is just going heavily in favor of Winky Face. And the bot lane is pretty rough. I mean, you got all of that just sustained damage coming out from Raynor and Gul'dan, and in this 4-man matchup with the Ana, just the overall sustain, wave clear, and kind of siege damage advantage is just so heavy in their favor. We're going to leave Gul'dan in the bottom to clear out that bot lane. I like that choice from Winky Face, really understanding, you know, Raynor does decent siege. there's no problem with pushing Rainer out here. You don't need to drop, you don't have Nano Boost available, so, you know, and you don't really want to use that for Siege anyways. Chen is, you know, better wave clear than he used to be, but he's not great wave clear. So definitely using Gul'dan to kind of get that advantage for you, pretty good. And so this wave is going to push through the top wall. I think their goal here, you know, the best case scenario at least is to get this this well here. And I think it looks like they're going to be able to snipe that. Wall goes down. Yeah, looks like they're going to be, these are going to be able to, they're going to see the engagement coming out onto Michaelin, but it's not going to be enough as Garrosh just throws him out of danger. All the pressure being put onto Nubrak, and Nubrak just cannot peel out. He just gets barely out, but Genzer's is a bit deep. And with that flank from Shadowguard, I think it's going to go down, and that's going to be a kill for the Nexus Cats. This top lane still needs to be dealt with. So they're gonna patch that up, and that's a good kill for them. They need to get back into this game, and getting kills like that is going to be the way, one of the ways they do that. Looks like Gul'dan's going to step up here onto Shadowguard, and it looks like Shadowguard might be in a bit of a rough spot here. I don't think he can stay alive without a good heal, and that's definitely going to happen. But we do get the counter kill onto Gul'dan. Good rotation from Nexus Cats, and I think Michaelin is probably boned here. No, there's no CC. And they don't want to overcommit to this as Garrosh is up. So this is going to get the throw in. And unfortunately, Mark does, you know, kind of rotate a little bit bad. And he gets thrown in under it. But he did have Burrow Charge to keep himself alive in that situation. But in the meantime, Chen is just getting free wave clear and push up onto this fort. And it looks like he's just going to step back. He's concerned about the rotation here coming in from Nexus Cats. But that's Winky Face, again, pretty heavily in favor in game number 2 on Brax's holdout here. Advantage feeling so good for them that they're going to actually steal this camp from Nexus Cats while Nexus Cats are doing the hard camp. And these easy camps are no joke. They do a pretty good job. When left alone, the Siege does exactly what it's designed to do. It sieges really well. They're top. They got high health bars. Now, I don't think these are quite the same as the Alterac ones. I've watched them a few times. I don't think they apply the armor debuff to forts and keeps. So I'm not entirely certain if that's intended by Blizzard for the Alterac ones to do so. Maybe they do and they just don't show the numbers. I'm not entirely certain. Good invade, though, coming out from Nexus Cats, but they are going to lose top fort for this. And you have to wonder if it's worth. I mean, there's obviously some advantage here in the fact that being able to pressure this out means that you are denying it. That top camp is just going to keep pushing. And it looks like it's going to be able to take that top fort. So they're going to sacrifice the top fort. See if they can find a good team fight. You get a taunt onto 3 targets plus a fear. Dender's still really low. I think it's going to go down. That's good pressure here coming out from the Nexus Cats, but we're going to see the dive finally coming in from the Chen. And the Ancestral Healing coming out, but it was too late to save Jaina. It didn't actually proc in time. The burst damage was too good, but it was a 2-for-1 trade for Nexus Cats, and that's going to give them at least a little bit of channel advantage here, I think. Ranger's going to go to the top lane to maybe stall that out. I don't think you have to do much here except for clear the wave. Tyka's wave clear is not the best. I would have put Sonya or Rhaegar up there personally. Or even just let Jaina clear it on her way back, because now you're not going to get any positioning advantage. There's no channel objective advantage. And now it's just going to be another, 4v4 or 5v4 fight here in the bottom lane while Chen just kind of continues to pressure out this top lane. It's got to be careful. If they do a full rotation up there without him noticing, they can pick him off. But to do so, they're going to have to sacrifice the bottom lane, and that's the kind of the issue here. Chen's just going to get free experience, get 13s, and with 13s, I expect to see him flank. They might also not just wait for 13s, as they have plenty of space provided to them given the experience advantage. We're going to see a throw-in coming out into Shadowguard. That's a scary position for Sonya to be in. The Ring of Frost does come out onto Genzers, but unfortunately with the kill onto Sonya, this is a 4v4 with Chen just getting free push in the top lane. And Mark, I don't know, he's going to have to get a Q from Lulu, but those long heal cooldowns from Rhaegar really kind of not doing well into this double sustained damage pair. And we're going to see another kill. That's a 2-for-0 and a full channel here, probably going to come into place for Winky Face. And this is starting to put things from bad to worse for Nexus Cats, as Winky Face basically has free reign of this map. They're going to grab this camp, and they might even go for boss. I mean, they do still have a bit of an advantage here, but I think the death timers are still a little bit low, so they're not feeling quite confident going for that boss call, which I think is the right call. Boss is pretty strong on this map, but it's hard to take. You can take quite a bit of damage doing so. We're going to see a 5-man rotation from Nexus Cats into that top lane. And so Winky Face is just going to say, well, if you guys are going to full man rotate to the top lane, we're just going to take a keep wall. 13's finally grabbed by Nexus Cats. It looks like they're going to see if they can just clear out this camp and maybe get an initiation. We do see the Cocoon Wrap coming out onto Chen. Good 3-man taunt into a fear, but it looks like Genzers is going to go down. Sonya doing a pretty good job trying to zone out this backline, but with Brickhouse being nanoed, it just wasn't quite enough, and then the re-engage from Chen onto the backline was too much for them to handle. Ancestral did come out, but it did not proc onto Sonya. Goes onto cooldown, doesn't have it available to keep either Rhaegar himself or Jaina alive. And I think that this is going to be the full channel. There will be 5 up for defense, but we're going to see 16s. And this bot lane is reasonably well prepped. And if they get this camp too as well, I mean, I don't know if the camp's really that necessary, to be honest. This could be a core attempt. They have so much siege damage. I would really like to see Winky Face just rotate 5 into this bottom lane and push this raid into core. I think with 16s, with this much siege, it just seems to be the right call. And that camp was a good call. I think it's still going to put pressure into this top lane that they are going to split Sonya into the top lane to deal with. And with this front wall gone and the fort already taking damage, I mean, this wave's just going to push right through it. And now we're going to be looking at scary times for Nexus Cats, because I think this is going to go right onto the core. So this is going to be a hard defense from Nexus Cats. Shields is already going to go down. We're going to see the Cocoon come out onto Garrosh. They're going to try to put pressure onto the... We see a nice 2-man Ring of Frost. Chen almost gets bursted, but he does manage to get the Storm, Earth, and Fire out, and I think it's just too little too late. 10% on the core, 8%. This is going to be game. GG. Well done, Winky Face. So Swift 2-0 from Winky Face is going to dash the dreams of the Nexus Cats. Back-to-back 2-0s. This was going to be a hard matchup into this team. I know Nexus Cats was feeling better after their last win, but Winky Face is a strong team in this division and definitely not to be underestimated, and they show that in this matchup, and they get the victory. Raynor coming out on top with 43,983 damage, far outclassing anyone on the side of Nexus Cats, and still a little bit ahead of Chen. This is kind of I think the MVP of my match. Chen just dominated that top lane. Sonya could do nothing. They had to continually rotate other members out to try to deal with the Chen. And when it came down to the team fights, they just didn't have enough to really stop him from going full ham onto the backline. And the sustained healing from Rhaegar just wasn't good enough, with all of that sustained damage coming out from both Gul'dan and Raynor and Chen for that matter. So, yeah, that's going to be games. Let's pop up the talent so everyone can take a look to see what the builds were on both sides of the map. And I will look to see if I can find an interview. Hello, sir. A brick house? And who else did you bring with you?
I brought the full mango.
The full mango. Well, congratulations on a 2-0 victory. Getting your guys propped up, I think, puts you in third place.
Yeah, I think that would be about it. I haven't gone through and done the calculations yet. It's a long season, a lot of games to play.
For sure. So, how you guys feeling after that win, though?
We feel good. It's always good to win a game. I mean, that's the point of it. That's why you work hard as a team. That's why you go through things in practice and study your replays, and try to motivate each other and do the best you can. So that's the outcome you want.
So game number 1 went to Alatarak Pass. Was the choice of the Nexus Cats. How did you guys feel about that map in particular and kind of going into the game?
Mango, do you want to take that?
It's not a map we play on often, but we felt really confident about our composition. We had a lot of comfort picks. We had the Ana, we had my Rexar. So I think we felt very good about the heroes we got to pick, and I think it went over really well.
Definitely. Rexar definitely made a splash in this matchup in game number 1. I think that you played it very, very well, just making sure all of your macro was handled very well. What I really liked about your play, though, on Alterac Pass, and this is kind of for the team in general, was the patient play. No one was pushing too hard onto the objectives. You were just making sure that you had good advantages going into a lot of those fights. They had some power picks like Sylvanas on that map. Were you concerned at all about the map pressure they could apply off the objectives, or did you guys just feel like you had all the tools you needed to really fight out every bit of that map?
It's always really daunting playing against a Joe and a Sylvanas because there's just so much power, from those two heroes. But I think maybe Nexus Cats maybe misplayed a little bit, and it gave us the upper hand in a lot of fights.
Okay, yeah, I definitely, I think there's plenty of examples of that being the case throughout that match that we did see, and I think that that's an astute assessment for sure. And I also really like the Mephisto, and the nano boosted Mephisto was quite the terror on that map in particular.
We actually had some worries about that particular hero because they had a Lucio, so Lucio could kind of speed boost them around, and it would make it harder for Mephisto to hit his abilities. But it ended up working out.
Yeah, it puts a burden of execution on your team to do it, and so yeah, we were definitely nervous, but we said, or I shouldn't say nervous, but we spotted the concern and we said, okay, we need to play disciplined, and I think that showed in our game.
Map number 2, we went to Braxis Holdout. What's your initial impressions when you had that picked against you?
Well, that map, I don't know which map is more maligned, whether it's Alterac Pass or Braxis Holdout. So the thought was, oh great, here we go again. But the map like that, you get 2 lanes, you need strong clear, and you need discipline again, not to get too greedy because that map can punish you hard. So to us, it was kind of like a variation on the same theme. Try to play disciplined, support each other, do call outs, and it turned out pretty nice.
So Full Mango, I kind of gave you my MVP almost in match number 1, just because how well he handled the game number 1, the macro on that hero. But Chen really didn't seem to have much issues in that top lane in game number 2.
Yeah, well, they took away Rexar, so I had to play Chen. But I was actually, I was a little surprised with how well the top lane went. I thought, since Chen's reworked, I've never dueled a Sonya as Chen, so I was a little worried. I wasn't sure like how that matchup would work out, but it was not favored towards Sonya.
Yeah, I was concerned about it actually going into it, as Sonya really only can get ahead a bit in that matchup if she's able to fight in the wave. On the point, though, it's pretty much a non-issue there, and you showcased that quite well. And again, in the bot lane, we saw the Ana come back out, and Brickhouse on the Gul'dan. It tends to be something that I like to see on that map in particular, because if you so much pressure into the bot lane, were you concerned at all about their kind of pick style comp that they went into it, or were you feeling pretty confident in that matchup after the draft?
I think we saw that they had strengths. We saw that we had strengths, and we just decided we got to make more plays than they do. We looked at their condition if they get on us, and it's if our tank goes against their backline and their tank goes against our backline, and we just slug it out, we lose that. And so we said we got to prevent that from happening, and that's again where the discipline comes into play.
Yeah, it was kind of awkward for us because we picked Garrosh into Tychus and Jaina. So, again, we were really nervous about that, but we kind of just played it safe, I think.
Yeah, I felt the Chen impact again in the team fights in particular, just able to dive those backline, and Rhaegar just didn't really have the sustain tools to deal with all of that pressure coming out from not just Chen, but also Gul'dan and Raynor in particular. And I thought that a lot of those team fights ended up going that way with good rotations. So congratulations on that. Going forward into the season, you guys have only lost 1 series so far against Bugin Squad, which is one of the top 2 teams currently in the standings. Anyone else that you might be concerned about going forward?
We really take our games one game at a time. You only play one opponent at once. You prepare the best you can for them, and you try to make more plays than they do. So we take it one game at a time. We don't look past any teams we play. All the divisions are really tight, and there's a lot of great competition in this division. So at any given day, anyone can beat anyone. So we just have to execute in all phases of the game. And if we do that, we can be successful.
Safe answer. But a good one. I'm happy with it. Anyways.
It's the truth, though. It's the truth.
For sure. Absolutely. That should be the approach. Don't underestimate anyone, because as soon as you start doing that, that's when you tilt and lose games.
Yep, and it makes a loss even worse if you count someone out and you think, oh, we can wreck these guys, and then you lose, and then all of a sudden you question everything, as opposed to saying, all right, what did we do wrong? How can we correct that, and how can we improve?
Absolutely. Anyways, guys, let's wrap this up. Any shout outs for the crowd out there?
I'll let you take shout outs, Mango.
Shout out to everybody on our team, and shout out to all the people that help run NGS and make it such an awesome tournament ladder. It's really fun and enjoyable for players like us, and thank you to everybody.
Alrighty then, thank you so much, guys. You have a wonderful night.
You as well. Thank you much.
You as well. Thank you.
All right, everybody. That's going to be it tonight. It's the only cast I've got because I have some of my own team stuff to work on. We've got a busy week, so catch us actually tomorrow when we go up against Who Knows Gaming. I'm not entirely certain if it's going to be casted. If not, maybe we'll catch it on a replay cast sometime this week. But I hope it is. As a logical decision going up against Who Knows Gaming, looking for another win to get us up in the standings. But just like those gentlemen there said today, don't underestimate anybody. A lot of these teams are very evenly matched, and just take it one day at a time. Thank you for everybody coming in, being chatty, and just watching the games. The 2 Twitch Prime subs today from Ghost4444 and Turd Herder are very much appreciated. and go a long way in helping me support this stream and everything coming along with it. Again, I am promising a lot in the sense of lots of casts and my own personal content coming out. I have been sick for the last little bit, so hopefully that'll be resolved here. I will be getting some replay casts in, hopefully this weekend as well. So stay tuned for that, and we'll be catching you guys around the block. Thanks so much. I love NGS and the whole community and everything it kind of brings along. So let's see if I can find someone to host. I'm gonna put it onto the, thanks for watching screen. But stick around here while I look for another match for us to pop you to. Stay tuned. Thanks so much, guys. Have a wonderful night.